Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whatever time of day it is that you happen to be watching this. For me, it's morning. Today I've decided to come down to one of our local woods, Blean Woods, to try and do some woodland photography. Something that I've never really done very much of, and being as it's kind of that autumnal time of year, I thought I'd come down and try and capture some of the autumn woodland colours. So I've come down to this wood, which I've never been to before, and I'm just wandering around, just trying to find some nice autumn colours, some nice shapes, some nice scenes, and we'll see what we get. I've only been wandering around Blean Woods a short space of time, but finding it quite tricky. It's quite a dense forest in places, or woods, and trying to find a subject is proving quite difficult at the moment. But I've just walked through and found this kind of natural arch, which is created by the canopy of the trees, and I'm just wondering whether or not I can do a bit of a selfie if I use this footpath as a leading line to the arch, and have myself stood there in that archway and take an image there maybe. I'm just going to get set up and I'll come back to you and see how we get on. Well, that's the first image, just to get my eye in. I'm not overly keen on a composition, and ordinarily I don't like using myself in the shot, but I thought it was worth a try. It's not too bad. What I had to do was use one of the birch trees to the left of me as you look to pre-focus on that position. I set the camera to a 10-second self-timer and just ran into the frame. I stood there while it took the image, and I'll put that one up on the screen for you now. It's ISO 100. It was f11 and it was a shutter speed of nearly half a second, 0.4 seconds. Just following the footpath on the red trail here at Blean, and come across this piece of heathland which is just full of heather. I'm reading from the sign, but it says that nightjar use it for nesting in amongst the heather in sort of May, July time, and apparently there's a common lizard occupy it between sort of March and October. Never really thought about lizards in this country, to be honest. Continuing along the footpath on the red trail at Blean, and just noticed there was some light coming through the trees and just hitting this piece of fern, which I've managed just to do the quickest lens change I've ever done and put the 70-200 on. The image now is f4.0, just got a little bit of depth of field. It's ISO 100 and a shutter speed of 1/40th of a second. And it was just, it's a nothing shot, but it was just the way that the light was hitting that piece of fern that just really made it stand out. And hopefully I managed just to capture that in time. I found another little scene which I quite liked. I'm not quite sure why, just something drew it to me. It's just these, where are they? These three trees here and this splash of colour which I thought matched my jacket quite well. So I thought it was worth a try. So I set up with the 70-200 on a tripod at portrait orientation to get the trees running up both the left and right side of the frame, and that little splash of colour between the two. Again, 10-second timer, ran into it, pre-focused on one of the trees so I knew roughly where to stand, and I'll put the image up on the screen for you now. It was ISO 100 f8, which gave me a shutter speed of, again, 0.4 seconds. I don't mind it, it's not too bad. I'm getting more images of me today than I've ever got in my lifetime. Just got this little scene here where I've actually come across this footbridge and it didn't seem very much at all, but when you look back it's actually quite a nice scene from this side, and there's a nice little bench, so I thought give it a try. I set up a tripod again with a 70-200 on the tripod, ISO 100, pre-focused on the centre of the bench, set the 10-second timer, and it's given me f8 ISO 100, and it's a 1/10 of a second, and I'll put that up on the screen if it's any good. Now. I really am struggling in these woods today. I've got a couple of images, which mainly are kind of selfies walking around the woodland, to be honest. I'm not quite sure whether I might be a week or two early for the autumn colours here. Doesn't seem to be an awful lot of autumn colours, to be honest, that I've found so far. I'm not to the end of this red trail yet, but it's proving to be a bit of a challenge. I just found this other scene I quite like. It's a little bit of a stream rolling through the forest, and it comes just underneath this little bridge here, and you've got these nice big tall trees just on top of the bridge, which seem to be a bit backlit, so they've got a nice luminous green colour coming through. So I've taken a shot at that with the 24 to 70, no, beg your pardon, 24 to 105 lens. It was ISO 100, aperture of f8, and it gave me a shutter speed of 2.5 seconds. I'll put that one up on the screen for you now. It's just another simple shot, just on the path, leading off into some trees in the distance. Just caught my eye as I was walking around, just quite liked it. So again, portrait orientation, which seems to be the flavour for today. I've got the 24 to 105 lens on again, and I've got f8 for 1 second at ISO 100, and I'll put that up on the screen for you now. Well, that's me now back at the car. Just found a nice little picnic table to have a sit at. I found that really challenging. There was a couple of images I got there which might be okay. Obviously I haven't processed them yet, so hoping that they might turn out okay. In the woods itself, it was very flat light, wasn't a lot of contrast, there was no real sun coming through anywhere, and there wasn't an awful lot of contrasting colours that I could find. I was at Blean Woods, and I did the red trail, which is a 2.5 mile trail through the heart of the forest. Apparently there's a red brick wall to look out for, which used to be a practice range for the soldiers during the Second World War. I didn't see it at all, but like I say, I think I've felt a bit disheartened halfway around maybe, and wasn't really enjoying it as much as I should have done the actual photography side of it, but it was still nice to get out. You know, it was still a nice walk around the woods. It was some fresh air, some exercise, and you know, it's all experience. It's something that I can use going forward to a next woodland photography walk, and I'll have a bit more of an idea of what's out there. Maybe I'll try, there's another wood called Kingswood, which is a little bit further towards Ashford Way. I've been before, and I think that's probably a bit nicer if I recall, but yeah, it's still lovely to get out. Still a nice walk around Blean Woods. Still enjoyed it, which is the main thing, I suppose. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked one or two of the images. If you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff that people tell you to do. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers then.